What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel, and today we are continuing on with our Christmas horror movie reviews. If this is the first time you've joined us on this channel, you can like, subscribe. We got some Christmas horror movie reviews coming the rest of this month, so be on the lookout for that. The film we're talking about today was a first-time watch for me. All I knew about this movie was the cover. I'd seen it before, but I've never heard anyone review it or talk about it, so I went in blind, and I will say 85% of this movie surprised me. It had a lot of pros to it. The cons that I have are small, but glaring and destroy this entire movie for me, and I will get right into it. To kick off these positives, I think this film was ahead of its time as far as the psychological aspect of a slasher is concerned. In this early slasher boom, you get a lot of the POV shots, you get the teens, you get the kills, and it's who can ramp that up more. But what they ramped up in this one was the psychological aspect of showing a man slowly deteriorating to becoming a serial killer. He was already crazy out of his mind. But kind of like in my Silent Night, Deadly Night review, where you watch this man go crazy, it's a similar sense, but this one really hunkers down on watching this man lose his mind, and that is the biggest pro of this movie. He is demented, he is twisted. You can tell there's something off from him from the get when he wakes up and he's dancing to Santa music. Out of nowhere, he's looking at himself in the mirror, always making these faces, putting on shaving cream beards to pretend to be Santa and ho-ho-hos. Just that alone is already unnerving, but as soon as he starts staring at kids through his window, through binoculars, and taking down notes, he's got a book of naughty and nice. And he knows, oh, Sally over here is a great little sister, she's nice. Oh, Brandon over here, he's a little jerk, he's naughty. And he's got these books. It makes that already odd, off-putting Santa shit into a nightmare. He works a normal job, he makes toys, so it kind of ties into his Christmas thing, but he's so passionate. You can tell that, again, if it was a normal guy who worked at a toy store, he would just be a little overbearing and odd, but knowing his backstory and his obsession with trying to be Santa and stalking these kids and this and that, it adds a different layer of creepiness where, yes, on face value, he's a normal functioning member of society, but you almost feel like a voyeur in that you get to look into the backstory where you go, yeah, he's a manager of this toy store, but we know why. He has like a childlike, I don't want to say wonder because that is an aggressive term for how crazy this guy is about to become. He has a childlike mentality, and it, again, would be something that's an odd personality quirk, but knowing who he is makes it so creepy. Like, his brother calls him and there's a Christmas parade going on and he gets so giddy like a kid and hangs up the phone and has to stare and watch Santa. He leaves work after a guy pulled a prank on him, made him stay an extra shift, and then he goes home and he plays with these figurines and is humming, and he ends up gluing a beard on to be like Santa, and he has these moments where he's in the van driving that he's got painted like a sleigh, that he's going so crazy he starts to think he is Santa. So as he's driving this van, he's calling out the reindeer names. He's pretending to whip them and ride them like he's on a sleigh. He's practicing his Merry Christmas, just saying it over and over and over and over. Each time he says it, it just pierces you a little more. It does have a sweet opening kill. And I shouldn't say kill, I should say kills. Because the way they set it up is so out of the norm of what you would expect. He just rolls up to this church and you see a group of people, and he comes out, and you're thinking he's crazy and he's twisted, but there's a group of people here. Like, what? There's at least 20 people here. And as he gets out to pretend to be Santa, these guys start picking on him and messing with him, and then he just stabs one of them with a nutcracker in the eye, axes one of them, just chops one of them up with an axe, gets in his van and takes off. He just kills like 4 people. And it was so shocking because you see this tense buildup, like he's definitely going to do something because they're fucking with him and he's going mad. But you were not expecting him just to slice and dice 4 people on a busy street in front of a crowd. The first 3/4 of this movie have so many positives that you have a feeling that it's on track to be an instant classic, one that I will rewatch every Christmas. But all the cons come out in the last quarter of this movie. Starting off with little nitpicks that don't derail this movie as bad as some of these cons are about to. You can tell the editing is a little off. Like at the very beginning, there's a scene where they're sitting on a staircase, and it's supposed to imply that they went up the stairs, but it just hard cuts from them sitting on the stairs to completely gone. Again, nitpick. Even though the first kill was cool, or kills I should say, it did have a little bit to be desired throughout the film with the gore, and there were some gory aspects, and they weren't bad kills, but I thought there was going to be more. It left some to be desired, left some meat on the bone. But here's where this sleigh ride starts to go very downhill. And this is when the rampage finally kicks off. He's already done the crazy killing. He's already got people looking for him. He ends up in this guy's house, and he's about to smother a guy to death. And so he's smothering this guy next to his spouse, and he is dying. Obviously, he's being smothered, and she does not even notice. And you know what? Even if you want to give her a mulligan and say, oh, she's a heavy sleeper, fine. I can ignore the fact that he just got smothered to death next to this lady who didn't wake up till the end, and then whatever. Even though that's so ridiculous that you could be in a queen-size bed and be smothered to death by someone who broke into your house and you wouldn't wake up, I'm calling bullshit. But what you can't call bullshit on is the fact that after the alert has gone out to this town that there is a killer Santa Claus, and they see him, and he runs up to a group of these kids. There's 4 or 5 kids. He runs up to the kids, and they're like, oh my God, Santa Claus. The parents realize that this person is definitely the killer. And instead of just bum rushing him right then or doing some type of stand, their fucking strategy was to just stand there and let him be around the kids. Because like, first they don't even justify it. They just sit there quietly, go, don't do anything. And then whenever they do say something, they go, well, if we make a move, he could hurt one of them. So it's just 10 parents standing around with these kids around a known murderer, and they do nothing.
There's a lot of pollution between here and the North Pole.
What are we gonna do,
Keep quiet,
Tom?
Teresa.
At all. 0%. They didn't try anything out the gate. They didn't try anything moving forward. Finally, 2 minutes later or so, some guy's like, hey, you need to quit that. And there's some stupid knife altercate. They get in a fight, and the kid's like, no, you can't kill Santa. It derailed. Dude, the whole build-up that this movie had going, the fact that it landed on a point where people are surrounding him and staring at him, they're like, no, don't attack, he would hurt the kids, was baffling to me. That parents of kids were just standing by. They weren't saying anything. They just stood there and watched, which is a strategy, sure, but you outnumber him a lot. This is a dude who just killed 4 people in public, and you're gonna let him stand around your 5 kids? That seemed wild. But we're not even done there. We're not even finished with that. So now, after this parent scene, he takes off. And he like drives and crashes and drives, whatever. It all runs together at the end. The whole town is chasing him with fucking torches, like he is Frankenstein. He's running down the street and hiding down alleys, and they're just running with torches behind him. This fucking town all rallied together to get torches and are just sprinting through. They're not looking left or right. They're just straight ahead sprinting. He's zigzagging. They're like, well, we can't fucking find him. Crazy. It's almost cartoon level what they're doing right now. And this movie that was on such a climb to being one of my favorite holiday horror movies just nosedives. There's a group of townsmen chasing him with torches. Then he gets to his brother's house, and his brother finally snaps and chokes him out with just his hands. Just a simple grab of the throat. 2 grown men. He grabs his throat. Santa can't do nothing. He thinks he kills him. So he thinks he kills his brother. He drags his body, puts him in the front of the van, just sits him there, and then he wakes up and drives off. The biggest ex machina I have ever seen. Whoa, I'm gonna choke him unconscious, then I'm gonna drag him to the front seat of his car, buckle it up, and he'll just happen to wake up so he can drive away so we can continue this more. Then it gets even dumber than that. He drives this thing over like an embankment, and it's just in the air. His van is just soaring. And then it just takes off into the moon like he's Santa Claus, and it ends. There's a Christmas jingle planned. He sends this van off this cliff, and it just soars like a sleigh to the moon. End of movie. What the fuck was that? Dude, everything that was built in this movie of him going crazy and this and that, no, he's willing to kill anybody, it ends with a town of people with torches chasing a van that is flying to the moon. What the hell? This film had all the potential to be an instant classic and just plummeted. I was so disappointed. The fact that I've seen bad movies, but they're bad the whole time that you don't mind them. This had such potential that the ending, the last quarter of this just really pissed me off. I was in here screaming at my television, going, what the fuck are we doing? Go watch 3/4 of Christmas Evil and make up your own mind. That's what you need to do. If you've seen it and you liked it, put it down below. If you hated it, I understand why. You don't even need to explain it down below. But if you love Christmas horror movies, we got more coming. I do music reviews on Mondays and Thursdays. I'm currently reviewing the Kiss discography. And on Tuesdays and Fridays, I do horror movie reviews. And all December, Tuesday and Friday will be Christmas horror movie reviews. So we got more coming up, guys. Be sure to like, subscribe, do all that stuff so you can keep up with the channel. Tell your friends, share this, let it get out there. You guys are the best. Peace.
Jingle bell, jingle bell, jingle bell rock. Jingle bells ring and jingle bells ring.